Hi, welcome to SPC206. Today we are here to talk a little bit about how to deliver content directly to the cloud without the need for a satellite downlink antenna. Today's session will consist of the following items. A little bit of an overview of our new AWS Aerospace and Satellite Industry Business Unit. Some of the challenges that we're seeing around media content and the distribution of that content, some proposed solutions that we've developed, and then the customer advantages that come with those proposed solutions. So the space industry is continuing to grow rapidly. We're seeing now new entrants into the industry, new funding sources for new and innovative missions and projects, as well as advanced technologies that are now being leveraged by these customers. So as that comes along, we're also seeing a new era in human spaceflight. So we've had the commercial flights to the International Space Station recently, as well as the Artemis mission that will eventually have human exploration on the moon, as well as Mars. All with that, we're also seeing a tremendous amount of new satellites being launched. Over the last 5 years, the number of satellites in orbit has grown by 77%. And that's due to lower launch costs, lower operational costs, and being able to leverage some of the new technologies that are new to the satellite industry through the cloud. So the cloud is enabling this space industry advancement with driving down the cost of innovation. By leveraging AWS, customers are able to scale up and down as needed as their demand changes. We're also helping these customers. Traditionally, satellite operators would build, operate, and maintain ground stations across the globe, which is obviously heavily capital influenced with lots of resources going into that. With the announcement of AWS Ground Station in 2019, satellite operators no longer have to procure and build those global infrastructure required to operate satellites. They're also able to leverage the global reach of the cloud and apply advanced workloads such as AI/ML, which allows these operators to focus more on the mission versus building, maintaining, and operating core infrastructure. In June of 2020, AWS announced a new industry business unit focused on aerospace and satellite customers worldwide. With the formation of aerospace and satellite, we're able to combine our space and satellite expertise with our cloud domain knowledge to strengthen our work with customers around the globe. A&S works with customers to reimagine space systems, transform space enterprises, launch new services, and provide mission support to public and commercial sector customers around the globe. One example of how our customers are able to achieve more with AWS is Capella Space. Capella is a synthetic aperture radar satellite operator who leverages AWS to provide their customers access to satellite data within minutes of capture. With cost savings and lower latency, Capella is able to provide their customers with a service that is much faster than traditional satellite operators, which may take up to 24 hours to deliver an image upon capture. Another satellite operator who is leveraging AWS is BlackSky. BlackSky took a cloud-first approach when developing their architecture and systems, and they built an entire satellite control system on AWS. And since then, they've been able to reduce the investment, management, and time associated with developing traditional satellite command and control systems by leveraging the cloud. Many of you have probably heard about and even seen the video from the Mars Curiosity landing. NASA JPL was able to rapidly provision capacity to deliver these images and video via AWS. By leveraging AWS, NASA JPL was able to deliver 10 to 100 times the amount of data for 1/10 of the cost using CloudFront. This is 100 to 1,000 times more cost effective than when we landed the rovers 9 years ago. In addition to Earth observation, space exploration customers, we also work with the world's largest geo satellite operators who provide media and connectivity services around the globe. These satellite operators, when we started to work with them, we noticed a common theme that started to emerge. In addition to using core AWS services, they were interested in learning more on how they could leverage and benefit from some of our media services, which the media services provide solutions for rights holders, broadcast channels, as well as distributors. So in today's session, we're going to discuss how combining AWS's media services with the expertise and experience of our global satellite operators, that we can deliver media content without the need for a satellite downlink antenna. I'd like to introduce Alistair to describe this solution.
Hello and good afternoon. My name's Alistair McLean. I'm Principal Solutions Architect here at AWS in the Aerospace and Satellite team. Jason mentioned that today broadcasters, media consumers are undergoing a digital revolution. Okay, consumers demanding ever more complex feeds, ever more scale, and shorter time to market. Today, many media organizations, however, suffer from three main maladies. First of all being lack of speed. Okay, media organizations are sometimes hindered by legacy infrastructure and workflows and struggle to respond to ever more high-paced market demand. Lack of scale. Media organizations are sometimes penalized by on-premises infrastructure, especially when they need to scale up or scale down their technology stack in response to market demand. And finally, lack of global presence. In an ever more global market, media organizations are exploring new market segments and new markets all of the time, and are sometimes constrained by their points of presence in order to ingest content and create new user experiences. So today, we've been, as Jason mentioned, we've been talking to media creators, content distributors, and this diagram really sums up the problem. You may have a live event, for example. Now, the live event that we see on our end screens is actually comprised of many, many different factors, whether it's adding in logos in real time, adding in commentary on top of the live feed, adding in pre- and post-game press conferences, maybe from different locations, and certainly adding in event images, advertisements, etc., etc., etc. All of this then usually needs to be uploaded from on-site to a satellite uplink, and then rebroadcast back down to where the rights holders want to then redistribute the content. That could be anywhere in the world, making the content distributors have to own and maintain complex ground station equipment. Elemental MediaConnect enables customers to both contribute and distribute content anywhere using AWS. They can reliably ingest content into the AWS network and then send it to multiple destinations, both inside AWS and externally. Cloud contribution using AWS Elemental MediaConnect usually takes the form of this following architecture. For example, Elemental Media Live may be used to encode content. That will then be delivered via Elemental MediaConnect to Elemental Media Live, where it will be retranscoded and redistributed out through Media Package, and then out to CloudFront as our content delivery network, and then playback through many different types of clients all over the world. In this view, a single region is used. However, in talking to customers, we see another pattern emerging. And this pattern enables cloud content distribution using Elemental MediaConnect and the AWS network backbone in place of a complex downlink architecture and infrastructure. So what we are beginning to see is customers utilize AWS's network as a service itself. Here, what you would do is, at a live event, perhaps, you would encode all of your streams, send that up to a satellite in orbit, that would then downlink to a waiting teleport station. That teleport station would be connected to the nearest AWS region via AWS Direct Connect. From there, Elemental MediaConnect can then be used to push that content via the entitlement system to any other region in the world supported by AWS Elemental MediaConnect. And indeed, they can be sent to subscribers. These subscribers could be the customers of the content originators or even the content originators themselves. At that point, the content is now able to be distributed locally. So, for example, let's say you want to stream an NFL game, okay? You could record it, send it up to the teleport, back down, and then have that distributed across the network to anywhere in the world that the content originators have access to. So what are some of the customer advantages that we see in talking to these broadcasters and content originators? First and foremost, reduced delivery time. Okay, one content distributor told us that it reduced the time for provisioning their content from 75 days to 75 seconds. Now that kind of massive reduction in delivery time is transformational in an industry. In delivering content this way, you ensure that it's cloud native. Okay, so if you're already using AWS, if you're a customer, you can then play that content into different flows that you might want to use. It's certainly very cost effective because you're only paying by the second, by the minute for the time that you use this service. And it's localized. You can consume the content from your localized AWS region wherever you are in the world. Really, the main benefit is that you can acquire content now from virtually anywhere without having to maintain and perform the undifferentiated heavy lifting involved in maintaining a satellite downlink station. Thank you very much indeed for viewing our talk today. I hope you found it useful. Thanks again.